it going?
Worldwide.
Very well.
Yeah, he was over there, Peter was over there for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and he met the local thing over there, and they were talking about it.
All right. Welcome, everybody. This is the Waterboro Budget Committee, and today is Thursday, February 21st. And I'll start off by introducing ourselves. I'm Jim Southworth.
Thomas Lee.
Gary Lamb.
Yeah, Wade Jenkins.
Diane C. Higgin.
Tim Neal.
Julie Giles.
John Burrows.
Perfect. Okay. So, tonight we're gonna, does anybody have anything to start out with? I mean, anything to discuss before we actually get into the budget?
I would just say you got some new information. This one folder from York County Shelters that's before you. That's a new figure that was in there. They hadn't sent me a budget before. They're asking for $3,000. If we get to that part of the budget tonight, you'll see that I stuck with the same amount from a year or 2 years ago. That was $1,500. So that's deep into the budget. We don't need to attend to that now. You also see some color pictures of this snowblower type rig here that we can, if we get to that point in the capital plan, we'll talk about that. And I also have some pictures, some rough numbers for the transfer station container hauling truck. But as far as I'm concerned, we can start on page 1 and start in with your recommendations, and you can do them department by department or by page, or however you wish, so.
Figure we can start out department by department, if it's all right with you guys. And the way we'll do it is, if you have a recommendation, you have to do a motion. For instance, you say I have motion that we take the general government from 427,000 down to $0.
Okay.
And then you'd have to have, you'd have to have a zero. You'd have to have a second, and then we'd have a discussion, and then we'd have a vote. So general government currently have 427,055. That's what the department recommended. That's what the town administrator recommended.
Which in this case is one and the same.
Right.
Okay, I was prepared to go line by line.
Yep, we can do that.
And I've got line 14, overtime for the administrator. I'm gonna move that all of that be struck out.
Okay, none of that's for me. I don't get overtime.
Okay, what is this
That's
over?
for Pete Cody,
No,
custodian.
yes, part of it is, yes, I'm sorry.
Part of it's for him.
Because we have a custodian overtime other places another place in the budget.
And then it would be a little bit of Nancy Johnson in the event that she works over, so, yeah. I'm salaried, I do not get over.
Right. But as far as the others, I'm willing to say that we take that out and we just tell them, you work so many hours a week. If you do work extra this week, work less next week.
Can't on hourly
Can't do
people.
that.
You can't do that?
Yeah.
Can't do it, it's not legal.
It's not legal, okay.
I mean, you can take this line out if you want, if that's your recommendation. I mean, you guys can do that.
And I have to keep hourly overtime separate for reporting. In fact, the gentleman's coming here next week to do last year's reports. So
Yeah, go up to line 9, you see Nancy Johnson, motor vehicle agent. She also has 8 hours in the general assistance budget, so she's a 40-hour employee. And if she works, excuse me, if she works over 40, we pay the overtime. Line 8, administrative assistant Sherry, her regular work hours are 32. And there's a little bit extra in there for weeks when she goes to selectmen's meetings, and normally she very rarely goes over 40 hours. So this overtime is between 2 people.
Sorry.
You can still do it if you want to.
Well, if we need it, we need it. I mean, if it's a legal thing, we'll have to leave it there.
It is.
Anything else?
Line 33, legal.
Legal.
Again, I mean, let's go over that one again. Why did we budget $40,000 for legal?
I took that down to either 35 or 30. See, we've got actual budget expended on the right-hand 3 columns here.
That's what I was looking at. You've got 20,000 expended 17, 18,
Yep.
and then you budgeted 40 for 18, 19. Are we close to that?
I haven't got my figures with me. I'm very sorry. I don't think I do.
Don't be sorry. No big deal.
I know that we've got a couple cases that's hitting it pretty hard right now, and they're gonna be a while getting settled, and that's all I really can say.
Will that be this year, this fiscal year,
Both.
ending in June, or it will be next fiscal year?
Both, more than likely.
Yeah, could be both. One of these just starting. The selectmen actually bumped that up from the 30 or 35 I had, just for comfort level, I guess. We had a huge personnel issue that went to settlement, and we paid out a lot more than this for an exposure we had on back benefits and pay, and obviously interest going forward in that. So normally, yeah, you see to the right, normally we're in the $20,000 category. I've kept it under that, I think, 1 year, but another year, you can see 15, 16 was through the roof. The selectmen do use, if we don't spend this and some other line goes over, the selectmen do have the authority in June, I believe, to move money around. They do that very publicly in a meeting here. If, let's say, the sand and salt line goes over, they'll take $5,000 to $10,000, whatever it is, from legal and move it over there. And remember, if we don't spend this, it goes back to the fund balance available for taxes the following year. I know where you're going. It's always a tricky shoot. You might be able to, some years get down to, having this $20,000. I wouldn't take it below 30 if you really feel the need to do anything. I would not recommend going below.
Can you say openly what we're facing, not so much who's involved, but what we're seeing for court cases?
Well,
Is
one
that
of them's a
something-
land use case.
Okay.
It's a building permit that was challenged. Building permit had been expired for years. He went to the ZBA, and he lost, and he wants to go to court now.
Okay.
And I don't guess what happens in court, but I think we have a strong case. The other one's a personnel matter. We can't talk about that.
No.
But it'll probably be well after July 1st before there's any resolution to that, if then. And there's another one that's a workman's comp case where somebody got hurt, that they're asking for a whole lot more than we think is proper. Our insurance company is involved in all of these. Sometimes it's workman's comp, sometimes it's your liability. So we do get some money back there, but some of those legal costs are paid by Waterboro taxpayers and not our insurance company. You just never know.
No, 21.5
To date,
today,
okay.
46%.
Well, I guess if we leave it there, we can come back, it will come back to us later if we don't spend, 21.5 or 22,000, so.
And that's the case with any line.
Yeah, I
If it's
know.
not spent, it goes into fund balance, and that's where, last year we used 800,000 in fund balance to go towards taxes. That's the big reason why taxes went down a nickel. If we hadn't done that, they would have gone up over a nickel.
And then line 35, town report. You said we cut back a lot of town reports?
Yes.
I remember seeing boxes of them here. Let's cut it some more and tell people go online and read it. Most people can go online. I'd like to move that we take $1,500 out of that 3,000 for town report.
I'd second that.
Seconded by Jim,
Yep,
is that right?
yep,
Okay.
I would agree.
Just simply because people can view it online. I mean, if they really need a copy, fine, but let's not go back to when there were boxes sitting out there.
Or when you walk into one of the stores and there's stacks of them.
All right, you got a
The-
motion and a second, you're gonna
Oh, yeah.
discuss or vote?
Any discussion?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay.
All three of us in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay.
3-0.
Advertising, line 37.
Yep.
You know, I look at previous years and I'm seeing 2,500, 2,500. Okay, 4,000 a year before. We're advertising legal notices,
Yes.
we're advertising,
Bids for trash hauling.
right.
snow
Is
plowing.
5,000, is that too much?
I hope it's too much and not too little. Where are we at so far?
Line 30,
37.
We had 2,500 in this current year budget, and we've spent 1,830.
1830, $2,000. Is the spring a busy time? Oh, I mean, you have town meeting, we have to advertise town meeting.
Well, there is no town meeting.
Well,
It's the election.
The election, we have to advertise that. How much advertising do you think between now and the 1st of July?
Gary could tell you more what he's gonna be advertising than I know.
Well, we're gonna spend another couple $100 probably on what just went out today with the contract for trash. I mean, you could take this down to 4, and we would probably be okay, but look at what we spent in 17, 18. I mean, we essentially spent $4,000.
Is that where the mailing comes out, when you send out informational mailings? Does it come out of that figure?
No, postage comes out of it.
Postage is further down. All right, then I'd like to move we take 1,000 out of line 37. We cut it to 4.
I'll second that.
Excuse me. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
And I'll be blunt up front. We have a truck we'd like to buy for the trash. I'm trying to find money, so, because that's gonna be a big item. And then you wanna buy a new snow blower.
Well,
And,
it's time to talk about it. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be that one
well,
or something that expensive,
but something like this also has additional things we can use.
especially with where your finger is right now.
Right,
Buzzing bushes on the side of the road. We need to do more of that.
yes.
We
So,
spend $1,500 a week, I think, in renting one of those machines. We rent it for 1 or 2 weeks and that's all.
Ooh.
So, we can use it also.
okay. The next is line 39. We budgeted 5,000, but we're not spending close to that. And I know it's unforeseen expenses. I keep an emergency account in the bank. I don't touch it unless I have to. And I know that we talked last week about a capital fund that I'd like to see build up.
That's in there for 10 now.
Yeah, I'd like to see that go up. When we get there, we can talk about that, but I'd like to see this one come down. How much did we spend so far? 39.
Incidentals,
Yes.
just under 700.
I'd like to make the motion that we take that down by 2,500.
So take it down to 2,500?
Yeah, take
Yeah.
39 down from 5,000 to 2,500. Speak up if you think we might run into something.
We just don't know. I mean, this is.
I know.
This is an incidental account that is for unforeseen expenses, so.
Well, I feel more, listen, put it to 3,000, that matches what we did in the most expensive year I can see on this last 3 years. I feel comfortable doing that.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd do that.
so take it down to 3,000.
Take it, yep,
Okay,
Motion for 3 from Tom.
motion for 3.
yep, I'll second that.
And all
Aye.
in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Assume you're voting for this, Tom.
Yes.
Yes.
3,000 it is, okay? Now you want to vote on, shoot, I didn't bring my calculator.
That's right.
Bring yours, Julie.
I just got my cell phone, that's all I've got.
So, we got, 25.
Why don't we just go down through
You've
your lines,
reduced it
don't
by-
worry about the
We
bottom
reduced
line?
it
By
4,500.
4,500, yeah.
Is there any change you want on the ACO?
No, I mean, that,
Because mileage has gone up.
okay, how much?
It's up to 54 cents a mile now.
Okay.
All right, go back to your page 1 then.
Okay.
So on your line, on your row number 2, the general government, on the budget committee column D, your total for those would be 422,555.
Gary, has your contract been settled yet?
For,
It says still pending. Your
For you.
new contract?
oh, no. We had a general discussion that was very good, that the overwhelming majority wanted me to stay for another contract, and I was looking for that many months ago.
Are you still looking at the 2.5% for the increase?
That wouldn't be an automatic there. I need to go negotiate with the selectmen what that would be. Whatever that number is for me, it is that next year without a 2.5%. For that, at least that first year.
I motion we accept the 422,555.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. All right, done with that one. Sorry, leases and debt service, row 43.
Just as a general statement, I'd like to see the town move to not paying debt, no interest. Just between now and before I die, move to the point where we pay cash for things. I mean, I know it's hard sometimes.
And the auditors suggest not doing that,
Why?
because you're using your funds if you don't unnecessarily. Let your funds make your money, and, because the interest we have gained on an interest, but that was in our last presentation from our auditor, and if you'd like to see it, it is available online.
Okay.
But he did recommend don't pay cash, and
For-
that's the owner of
For
the
big
company.
ticket, multi-year items.
Right.
I'm talking right now, just start with the fire chief needs a new car. Let's pay it all at once instead of spreading it out over 4 years or 5 years and paying interest. We're not ever going to be able to pay for a brand-new tower for the fire department, cash, unless we start printing it in the back room.
A brand-new tower on the mountain, you mean?
No, a tower truck. We're never going to be able to do a ladder truck or a tower truck.
Yeah.
We can't.
It's a fine goal to pay cash.
It would be, I'd like to be able to pay cash for all the small things. You know, anything under $40,000 or $50,000.
I know the auditor won't go with that.
Okay.
Well, this past year, we did the roof. We paid cash for that. And it was the decision that it was gonna stay in capital. We didn't borrow money. So it's a mixture, but you get a CPA in here and he will refute that argument in terms of long-term funds.
Well, that's the only thing I have about 13. I mean, we pay, this year we're paying almost $25,000 in interest. I could have one heck of a time in Las Vegas for $25,000. I don't have $2,500 to go to Vegas at this point, though, so. I'd say we accept line 13, 239, 154.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, insurances and benefits.
Line item 61, vacation and sick time buyout estimate.
Yep.
My background in the military was, we don't want people to not use their vacation. We don't want people to not use time off. And that's time for them to get away from the job, take a little time to decompress, wind down. I'm worried that somebody might say, well, I'll just sell off my vacation time, and we've got an employee who's now getting a little bit more stressed. You're the one who sees this on a day-to-day basis. Is this something we should think about?
We can do that, we'd have to change the personnel policy because you can sell it now,
Okay.
yes.
It's maybe not this year, but I'd like to think about that into the future, that we give people leave and vacation and time off so they can decompress, so they can get away from the job.
Right.
I mean, maybe in the military it was a little bit more, you know, it was a little different, we were a little different pace. But I don't want to see people working 3 or 4 years without a vacation.
Some of this is when you leave town employment.
Okay.
But a good portion of it is because people are selling a week or more, or weeks, because they can.
Are they required to keep a minimum, or?
Now, I let people, we've got some health issues going on here. One employee would like to keep that extra week going into the next year.
Certainly.
I've allowed that, but I've also, everybody knows that you're not gonna come back here a year from now and say, oh, I'd like to keep 2 extra weeks. No, we don't do that. I do limit it to pretty much a week. I'm the worst person violator here, because I don't use my vacation time, so.
Well, we've got, don't just say you, you've got 2 others too that didn't use their vacation at all.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
And also,
I do
when
the
they
same thing.
retire, you've got to pay them back.
But you got one selectman in here, we can raise that issue, and you can raise an issue with the selectman about that would require the personnel policy.
I want our employees, we don't pay the best in the world.
So you're thinking of not doing it at all, or? I mean, one thing we do where I work is you can do a week. So I mean, you still have a couple weeks of vacation time, it's just an extra check. You don't have to.
Yeah, I understand it's an extra check. Geez, you know, an unexpected medical bill, you know, gonna put a couple of tires, 4 tires on the car.
But we can't sell all of our time and not take a vacation.
Okay.
We can only, like I said, you're allowed to sell a week and that's it.
Well, when we talk with the board, I'd like to bring this up and say, I'd like the.
He's talking about his employer.
Right, I know
Our
that. But
personnel
when we talk
policy-
with the board, I'd like to talk about the personnel policy, and
You can sell it all.
I don't want them to sell it all. I want them to take some time off and get away from the office, get away from the town hall.
Like Gary said, that would mean a change to the personnel
Right,
policy.
and that's not something we can do.
Yep. Well, we can have that conversation.
Anything else
No.
in this section? For insurance and benefits, I will motion that we accept the 653, 625.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town clerk, you will see a change here. Election expense went up $1,000.
So it's now 16.
Wages went up to make it at 40 hours.
The selectmen, remember, have suggested that we're gonna at least have a discussion about opening on Mondays
Right.
here, which is a 20% increase in her salary, because it's another 8 hours, so most of this increase is in line 71. Duties won't change, it's just more hours in the work week.
So 71 would change to 840, 51 something?
No, what
No,
you see
the
there, sir.
43,200.
It is there.
43,200.
If you read underneath your descriptions, it's a 40-hour position, the
Right.
way it's been budgeted. So that would be the 43,
Okay.
2 for 40 hours.
The selectmen indicated they wanted me, at least for discussion purposes, to budget for these changes. This is the only main one here, because she's the only 32-hour-a-week person now that wants to work. Sharon does not, and Sherry does not, and that's okay, we can get around that. Sharon continues to be flexible with her days off, that will work. Thank you. And the other thing that we'll see as we get down in here on the page 5 is I put in $10,000 placeholder for cleaning the building here. Because Pete Cody cannot clean town hall on a Monday when we're open. You've got hideously noisy equipment here, you've got, we scrub the floors, we buff the floors, you can't do that when people are in the building. So he will be moving on and doing other maintenance things, and there are plenty of those things to do. He's a capable fellow, and he would actually like to do more of that repair and maintenance work than cleaning the building. So that's the only change for the town clerk.
So with the extra 1,000 for the election, that would mean 65,830?
No, all the numbers I'm talking about are in the total you have right now, so 64,830
Okay,
includes that $1,000. Remember, we're gonna try and double the voting machines.
right.
We're going to rent 2.
Well then, I'd move the 64,830, we take that, we accept that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Tax collector,
I move 0.
again, Sharon can be flexible with her Monday or Friday day off during the week, and we appreciate that. We understand that both she and Sherry don't want the extra time, and we think we can work around that. Our other part-time person, which is in the general government, works Tuesdays and Fridays now. We would be moving her to Mondays and Fridays. Within a short period of time, Mondays would be our busier day, when Tuesday is it now. The Tuesday nights would still be open, and that would still be busy. That's very popular for business here. So I did not increase her salary. You can see it's still 32 hours a week.
Yeah.
I'll move that we accept the 44,370.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is Julie, the treasurer. Nothing new this year there. I take that back, $150 for lodging. She wanted a bed rather than a long ride home on one of the conferences she goes to, I think.
How many, you only go to 1 or 2 conferences, right?
I'm on the state board, so I'm in
Okay.
Augusta, so, but, there's more than, and there's a national one that I've been trying to attend for the last 5 years and haven't been able to.
Where is that?
Haven't got the paperwork yet. Last year it was in Connecticut.
I'd like to move, we'll move this, I'll move the 67,405.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
IT department. Don't really have anything to add other than what we've already talked about.
move that we accept the 128,467.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Municipal buildings, historically has been kind of a catch-all, and we may be morphing this as Public Works takes over, more of the things, and probably gonna find that this budget is going to increase, since David Benton and Ann account can really be taking care of a lot of things in a lot of buildings. You see line 134 went up 10 grand, went from 7 to 17,000. That is the $10,000 contract estimate for a cleaning service for this building. One evening or one time on the weekend. Pete Cody would obviously be available to pinch hit and take care of other things in here. We all pinch hit and empty trash ourselves and clean up whenever we need to. But that's the substantial change here.
Does the building get that dirty in a week? Could we do that every other week?
No,
Not really.
We get that dirty?
especially not this time of year.
Well-
So much salt comes in.
Salt and also the restrooms.
I mean, we should be cleaning, and we do spot clean the restrooms more often, but sometimes they need it every 2 or 3 days.
It's tough to get away with, man. I have an office with similar floors, and they have to do it, we have it twice a week. And you wouldn't think you need to, there's only about 15 people in there, but this time of year in particular, you're
Yeah.
doomed if you don't do it.
I mean, he has a big buffing machine, and he goes through this place, and it takes, Mondays and some Tuesday time to do all those things, and a lot of them, without snow shoveling and doing things outside.
And the number 135, do you feel that we need to go to 57 from 53? I mean, I know CMP went up 14%.
Well, that's why
Now,
you
go to your next line.
look at
page
line
7.
136 if you want to talk about electricity. That's
There you go.
30,
about a 10% jump there.
yeah.
We just thought we should do that because I didn't want to not have enough money to pay the bills. And the emergency fund is new. No, I'm sorry, we started that last year for line 144. But we've got some other work to do, and that capital fund, reserve fund, whatever we call it, in talking to our accountant, we may want to pull that out and just have that actually not in the budget and funded by what would be probably a separate article, I would think, at the ballot. And it's not something that would need to be carried forward. And I don't even think it would be in the expense budget. The way Ron was talking there, you fund it from fund balance with a ballot question. And I don't even think it would be in here.
Is that a different designated fund? I mean,
Yes.
like, you've got it, it's in here because you've got your rescue billing is in here, would be in here.
Anyway, we've got 10,000 in here that would build up with, you see under column F there's 10,000 in there for this year. And we would hopefully not use that and carry that forward and add this 10 to the other 10 and start to build that up, like what you were talking about, Tom.
Right. This is the one I'd like to see us build up.
Yep.
If next year we need a new fire chief's car, we have some money
Pay
aside.
cash for it, well, that's
Pay
what we're
is-
talking about.
Yeah. Like I said, we're never gonna get to buy a ladder truck. And she doesn't wanna be out back printing money, and I understand. But I'd like to see that one, and that may be something we can talk with the board of selectmen. I'd like to see that go up every year. And then when we need to use it, we use it.
They were telling us one of the towns bought their fire truck with that.
I think Limerick did.
Limerick,
Yeah.
Shapley does a lot of that too, and when I first said that to the auditor here, he said, I don't agree with that at all. For instance, Shapley, if they needed a dump truck, they'd pay cash. And he immediately shook his head and said, you won't find any accountant telling you to do that. Spend your 1-year capital short-term money on something you're gonna have for 5 or 10 years. Philosophical difference. So you, back to 128 then, I don't hear any changes, so what are your wishes on row 128 of 100,500?
I say we go with 105. I suppose we accept that.
John's moving that.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
And that is definitely, line 144, I want to see what, when we talk to the selectmen, I want to
Sure.
bring up and somehow,
With all these things that are going on here, I would envision you're gonna need 2 workshop sessions with the selectmen, which is a good thing. We've got some extra time here too, so. Tax assessor, Tom, I imagine you wanna take that to 0.
could we bill her? No, I have no comments on this. I have nothing. So I'll move this 64.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
So we've pretty much given up on trying to find a permanent one, right?
We went through that process before, and this is how we found Shirley. There was no other candidate when we went out for an assessor that had anywhere near her knowledge of the Trio software that we had. Some other people that had experience as being assessors and were certified main assessors. But they would have to come in and learn the software they're supposed to be using all day long because they weren't used to it. They were using a different variety. And I had no interest in that. And this lady is talented and organized. She gets a lot done in 2 days. Like I told you weeks ago, she's not getting a lot of the backup photos and other things that we would like to add to the database. But that's not the end of the world. And I think we could do that by farming it out if we really need that. I don't see that as a high selectman priority now, all the photos in the assessing database.
And she may increase her hours too over time as she sheds other towns.
She'll be available to do that. She'd
Yeah.
like to. She'd like to work in 2. Remember, she
Yeah.
worked in 12 as a solo assessor.
She's a good fit. I'd like to see her just stick around.
Her customer service skills are good. She's very professional and she gets back to people quickly, answers their questions well. Yeah, I would have liked to have had a full-time assessor,
Yeah, that's
but
all I was
it
gonna
just didn't work out numbers-wise.
Closest we have to work together.
So, let's see, where are we? Code enforcement?
Yep.
Okay.
Code enforcement.
We've had a bit of a bump there for some more deputy code enforcement hours. $4,000.
And an increased wage.
Yep.
And you also have a car in there.
Well, starting at line 172, we budgeted 960, but what are we up to on this year? Well, if you have that.
Yep.
That's $40 a month cell phone reimbursement,
Yep.
times 2.
But we didn't seem to spend that much the last couple of years.
It's just coming into it.
This is a new-
Yes, it's just been added.
Okay.
This is the first year that Tammy
Right.
got the $40 a month.
And then let's see, line 177, legal.
Yep.
Now, we have, this year is $4,000. Is that part of the legal $40,000 that we have up in?
No, separate. He likes to keep tabs on his legal budget for ZBA and other things, and it's fine. We have also a small fund, I think, in both planning board and ZBA. Not a bad thing to do, it's not necessary. You could have everything come out of one legal account, but I wouldn't stay at $40,000 on that page 1 of legal if I was gonna get rid of this 5, the 4, I think, for the planning board, and that 2,500 for ZBA maybe.
Okay, I don't know, Glenn could express this better than I can, because they're putting some of their revenues for building fines towards this and increasing their legal line in case something happens. For instance, in the current year budget, we budgeted $4,000.
Right.
There's almost $15,000 sitting out there for legal right now.
We owe or we
That
have?
spent?
No,
Oh, yeah. You could-
Available
need to
for
clarify.
Available too, okay.
So we have 15,000
for Glenn to spend.
somebody's
for legal.
desk somewhere.
No, it's in the bank.
Yeah.
But it's, we moved revenues, he's authorized moving revenues from one line to this expense line.
Which is fines.
Yes, we found out it's fine, but I'm just letting you know that that's how much money's in there as of right now.
Now, if we don't carry that forward, those extra funds go into fund balance. And I would not, I mean, if you took this down to zero, I would say we need to carry forward some of that into legal. Philosophically, I wouldn't do that. I'd let that slide, whatever it is, at the end of the year and rebudget another 5. It's a wash in the long run.
Because that's what the red 4,000 means, that there was 4,000 in a carry forward.
When we get a bill, I go through the bill and I write general government on a line for X number of hours for attorney X, and then I write CEO or ZBA or planning board on the other line. So we do parse those out. If we didn't have all those accounts, we wouldn't. We'd put them all under one, but the end result is no different.
If we're gonna carry it forward, I guess we could leave it alone. And then when we get to 181, I'd like to move that we strike $13,000 out of the budget. He's just gonna have to make, if we wanna buy this and we wanna buy the other truck, we can't buy everything.
That's true.
Believe me, I've looked at my checkbook and at this point in the month, it says, don't spend another dime until the 1st. So I'm moving that line 181 be reduced to 0. But when we talk to the Board of Selectmen, I'm also going to ask them, you know, this is one of those things that we put money in the emergency fund, and if the car decides to go, then that's where we keep the money. We use the car as long as possible. And then, if he's driving down the road and all 4 wheels fall off, then we buy him a new car. Or, as we've discussed, a lot of bigger cities, the town I grew up in, the fire chief gets a new car, the police chief gets a new car every year or 2, and then they move down the line. They go to the captain. The next year they go to the lieutenant. And by the time the car is 4 or 5 years old, the detectives are using it. It doesn't look very new, so the local people don't realize it's a police car. We could do the same thing. Get the fire chief a new car. A year or 2 later, EMS, we move that to EMS, and then we just keep moving them down.
Yeah, Lisa Bennett's would be the next one to probably be retired, and that's a possibility. The pickup truck at the fire station, it's got some body cancer. It's still running, but there's an argument to be made, and that's in the document here also, to replace that with a crew cab, because they do use it a great deal. They respond to incidents with it.
Yeah.
The other option is the cruiser for the deputy, and I think that's probably at least a year out for that being retired. There are cruisers every year with the sheriff's department that we could take over. I'm kind of leery about doing that.
I agree. I'd rather have our fire chief, our EMS vehicles passed down the line.
Or the deputies that we deal with every day that know their vehicle and say, yeah, you can get another couple of years out of this.
Yeah,
Something like that.
one of the town deputies, yes.
So you got motion, was there a second? If so, I missed it.
So you motion to remove that?
Just strike the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 And again, when we talk with the board, I want to, I'm not trying to say he doesn't need it, but I'm trying to say,
Pay for it differently.
yeah. I don't want him out in the corner with a tin cup,
Yeah.
but
Having a bake sale.
you don't want me doing a bake sale.
I'll just add one other thing, because we had talked about that vehicle that he brought in that was 37,000 miles on somebody that passed away in his family. I just want to publicly state here that, yes, it was somebody in his family, but we have a purchasing policy whereby we would have to go out and get 2 other prices for the same vehicle. And then, I would make a decision on what we're buying, and usually we would buy the lowest price. So it's not like there would really be an obvious, there's an apparent conflict of interest in the idea, and you raised that, and I think you raised it well. But in actuality, there is no conflict of interest, because it's not the code officer's decision to buy it. And we would have to get two other prices for the same type of vehicle. That's irrelevant, not because you've changed this, so, but I just wanted to say that. I didn't answer that question well when we talked about it the first time. Overlay 0, library.
Wait a minute.
You haven't voted on the figure
Yeah,
yet.
we got
Line 155, code enforcement. If my math is correct, that means with the striking the 13, it's 88010.
Yes, sir.
88010?
010.
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah, you're right, we do have to vote on that.
a motion, we accept 88010.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, overlay, 0.
Overlay, we
You can't do anything on that.
don't fund that.
Perfect.
Library,
807.
we have, I think, another bump on minimum wage for a few people. There were a few more part-time hours that Julie added to 192. That's causing essentially the $5,000 bump there. The library is not open any more hours in this budget.
Okay, two things I have a question of. Line 202, and we're spending approximately $2,000 a year. Are we up to 202, the office expenses?
Is that a question or a statement?
He's looking at
They're
me.
changing,
the-
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
They're changing their system. They have to re-barcode every book, and they're joining, it's like a lending system where,
Right, I know, yeah.
okay.
I'm just, is that increasing at $500? Are we gonna spend more than that? The additional 500, or is that something we could strike? Can they fit it into the budget they have? If not, fine. I meant to get to the library,
They've spent 700 this year, but I know Julie's got a set plan for this, and I haven't seen her go over anything that she's asked.
I think that $500 bump was, at least that amount was needed for the barcoding supplies, if you will.
Okay.
Probably a machine to do that, I would guess.
yes. The other one was books.
Yep.
We're at 10.5 and we've got a $2,500 increase.
She asked for that. I thought about cutting it in half. She said that the main reason for that was audiobooks, which can be $40 plus each. And they're increasingly popular.
And take up less space than the hardbowns.
Well, they're also good for people to travel to and from, as long as they don't get too involved.
That's the market, is the commuters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then let's leave, if we're gonna have a lot of people that use that,
I think it's good, the library, I'm pro-library, I was very pleased with the number of kids she said she had signed up, I'm all about it, so I have no problem with this at all.
And I know they're trying to put in some more bookcases, because I heard Pete talking that he had 3 more sets of cases to build. I don't know where they're gonna put them, but
You should check it out if you haven't been down there.
I mean
have
to,
not. I
I meant to go to the fire station, I mean to go to the library, but
But in the kids section of the library, you can't make the bookcases any taller because the kids are too far.
Kids can't,
They're only,
I've got a ladder that's about 3 foot tall they can have.
I went in there the first day, well, let's build some more shelving. No, you can't do that, Lamb. Kids are short.
they're little types.
So if there are no other changes there, then you're back to page 7, row 189 for $110,807.
I move we accept that
Second.
110,807.
John and
Any other
Tom.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Yes? 3-0. Recreation. excuse me, recreation, significant increase here.
Yes.
The salary line, Lisa Tudor, or could be another person, I guess, bumped from 25 to 40 hours a week. That's, most of that $19,000 increase, a good portion of that is that. We doubled our hours for the Gobio boat launch attendant last year, to be down there. And selectmen spoke positively about that. Todd's salary has the usual COLA. Line 224 has an additional week of summer camp. That's a good chunk of that $15,000 bump there. You might not need all of that, but he's certainly gonna need some of it. And remember, this department brings in over 70% of their budget in program revenue. Just keep that in mind.
Where does that money go, Gary? Does it go back into the general fund or back into his budget?
It goes right into the general fund. It doesn't, this is just the expense side.
Okay.
So we have a revenue budget that's separate from this
Okay.
that would reflect that.
And the summer money hasn't started to come in yet, and he's already at 40% in take-in.
Oh, in income, okay.
Yes.
And on page 9, there's new item here. New fencing for Friendship Park, road 242, line 242. That is a new idea. I think it's a good one. It's something that has to be done. But like we talked about before, anybody can drive down there and drive over and around the basketball court
Yeah.
and make a royal mess
Cross
of
the
it.
lawn.
But
Yeah, we don't need that. I like that idea. Just, I mean, why should we spend money maintaining the lawn if some yokel is gonna come and just do figure eights, do the NASCAR figure eights all over it?
Shoot, and I didn't bring that diagram. He and Sherry have generated a diagram that you'll see at the selectmen's discussions. Outlines where that was. And if you went to the Blues Festival, that snow fence that was there is pretty much gonna be the new 4-foot tall chain link.
Is this a guesstimate price, or does he have an actual,
No, I think that's a price from the fencing contractor.
from a guesstimate?
Yeah.
Okay. Should that be under DPW where it's maintenance?
It's gonna go one or the other, and we beat each other up over where to put it.
Oh,
I
okay.
put it here, since Friendship Park is a little more recreation related than Public Works. So staff would not be doing this, this would be hired out by a fencing company. Another new item here, Road 243, we don't have any automatic defibrillators in Town Hall here, and it's been strongly suggested by the rec director and the fire chief that we do that, so I put this here in the rec budget rather than the fire department budget.
Would it be possible to do one this year and one next year?
Yeah, good.
Should we have the town employees do a half a mile around the parking lot once a week for,
And they have tried a lot of other options to get grants and things like that, and it
it's something that we're gonna need.
hasn't
I
happened.
mean, if,
Well, I hope not.
well, I hope we don't need it too, but if we need it, we need it.
Better than not having it.
But I'd like to say we go one this year and one next year.
Next year, yep.
And as always, we keep looking for other ways, you know, if we can get a free one from someone. But that's, yes, I'd like to move, we'll take out 2,500 and ask that you put it back in for next year. We do one this year, one next year.
I second that. We need to, they need to get a light out here on the flag.
It's out there.
It's not out there. There is no light on that flag.
They leave it up all night.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, we do.
I drive by there, it's not
Well,
illuminated.
let's go out after, because when you brought that up to me weeks ago, I went out and Pete said, yeah, there's the light right there. It's after dark, so we'll go out and look.
Okay.
Yeah, that needs to be done.
Motion and second. Is there a vote?
Hang on a second, 342.
Are we getting the number?
All in favor?
This is for this
Yeah,
one
for the
line.
25.
Oh, for the one line?
Yep, for the one line.
Aye.
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 Reads it.
The rest of it, they bring back 73% of what they spend. It is not everyone in town. I personally don't like blues music. But, we do a lot.
They're bumping up the Friday night music during the summer as well.
Yeah, they're gonna have different
Horseshoe,
types, they're gonna have some
carnival.
country and, other stuff too. Some rock and roll.
340255.
Yep.
So I'd move line 220 at $340,255.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
What was that final figure?
340,255.
Thank you.
Planning board starts on the bottom of page 9, but there's nothing there other than the total. We'll have to come back to that, but the details are on the top of page 10. Notice I took the salaries down on line 259. We just weren't spending that. The 4,500 was if everybody went to the planning board, every planning board meeting all year long. I think that was a theoretical maximum. And that doesn't happen, so.
How many planning board meetings do we have in a year?
Usually 2 a month.
2 a
Yeah,
month?
24.
Yeah. 2 months.
Yeah, right, 24.
They do have, they also have workshops. And there's more than just that, there's not much, but that's not a firm one.
$25 times 7 times 24 is $4,200. Actually had too much money even with maximum, so no reason they can't come down to about 3.
And then 266 consultants.
If we should need an engineer or surveyor, most of the time those things, the reason this isn't 5,000 and it's only 500 is because if it was a town project or something that we felt the town needed to answer, we've got $500 in there for the planning board to hire somebody. Rather than most of the time now, if a consultant is needed, the developer or the applicant would pay for that. And you can see most of the time this isn't used. Just go right across that line all the way to the right. It's pretty rare that the planning board needs to use town funds to pay for.
Then I'd like to move that line
Answered.
266 be reduced by $500 to 0. If we're not using it,
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it. If we're not using it, we might as well get rid of it.
All in favor?
aye,
Aye.
3 ayes there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
which would reduce the budget to $7,850 for line 256. And I'll move 7850 for line 256.
I'll second that.
Hold on, what was that again? 7,000?
7,850. Gary's double checking my math.
No, it wasn't there.
Good.
You need to vote on that?
So, all in favor?
Aye.
7,850? Passes.
Planning Department, Road 270.
Oh, 390.
This went down on Road 273 because we tried to hire a town planner.
Right, same thing as the assessor.
Right. And the one candidate that was in there, it didn't work out, so we are back with the selectmen's approval here for Lee J. Feldman, experienced professional planner, 1 day a week on Wednesdays. He comes here, whether he has any appointments or not, and there's a fair number of zoning ordinance things that he does. So he's working here all day, he's not just sitting here playing with his cell phone. He's working on town projects here. Occasionally, he doesn't come to work when it's snowing or whatever, and we are not billed for those days, just so you know.
Now, the employee costs in line 278, is that for the administrative assistant or for the town planner?
For 278,
Line 278, employee costs.
yeah, that would be, most of that would be for Tammy, but not exclusively. I mean, I don't know, the things that Lee J bills us for, do you know if we separate those out, meals and mileage?
No, they haven't. Sherry hasn't.
We haven't, yeah, so. Yeah, as you can see, we haven't spent much of that. Tammy doesn't go to much at all of the MMA classes. She's been to a few. Goes to maybe one thing a year. Pretty much no overnights for her.
Because you can look more back to the H column and see before they put the town planner back in, what the actual expenditures were. Hi, Dave.
And I'll leave that open for you.
Thank you very much.
Jim, if you could just shut the monitors off.
Okay.
Take care of it tomorrow.
All right,
Thank you,
A
Dave.
friend of mine did send a video from Las Vegas that was snowing this morning, just so you'd like to know.
I wonder what the odds were.
Snows in the desert.
Go home and have supper.
Night, David.
I'm wondering if it's worth, if we should leave 278 line, or if we should just reduce it completely. I mean, if Tammy feels she needs to go somewhere, I want to have the money for it, but she's not spending a lot.
And nothing's been expended this year to date.
And that's not for Lee J also?
No.
All right, then I'd
Well,
like to,
I guess it could be.
You say you don't separate it out.
Yeah, but we don't now, because when he bills us, it's the hours of time, there's some mileage in there, and I guess we're just not separating the mileage, because it's a contract, we're paying that all out of the salary line, I gather, when we pay them, because it's a contract, it's not an employee, so. You could easily cut this to 550. If you cut it all out, then when something does happen in there, we'll find the money, but,
I'd move we cut it to 550 then, because I'm looking at 3 years of nothing.
second.
all in favor of cutting it to 550?
Aye.
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 So you're cutting each line in half?
Good point.
I would
Yes,
say
I
yes.
would say yes. I mean, the town can move it around if you feel you need it all for travel,
no, we'll do that, we'll cut everyone in half.
cut everything in half and then as needed, obviously.
Thank you.
Okay.
Which would mean the bottom, the line 270 would be 103,440. And also move that line.
Okay, you still got a motion on the floor here for 278, dispense
Oh,
with that,
okay.
please.
I'll second the half of,
Yeah, you did.
okay, so we need to vote on that?
Okay. What,
We need to vote on line 278, you got a motion and a second to reduce it to 550.
oh, we just voted.
Yeah, we voted.
We voted.
You did?
Yep,
Yeah.
3-0.
All right,
Quietly.
thank you. So now back up to row 270, the total.
103,440, I'll move that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. ZBA, fortunately, they don't meet that often, which is exactly the way it should be, ideally. We do have a small legal budget in row 297. Or a philosophical decision and a need for money in there. Go over on gonna call them H, and I don't know, remember what happened in 17, 18, but I think they had 4 meetings that year or whatever, but they spent a bunch of money on legal that year. You just never know.
That was also the year that,
Oh, the campground, Old
yeah,
Docks.
Mr. Campground,
Yeah.
and we also had, we had the lawyer come in, and she gave a class one night, so we had to pay her for that as well.
And she attended those, the hearings.
And she
on
attended,
that,
yeah,
too.
and she attended the hearings. So,
If there's no discussion, I vote we accept the $3,700.
Second.
so I don't know, because I'm on the zoning board of appeals, I don't know if I can vote on this.
You should not, because
Right.
you get paid to come to a meeting, so let's just put this at 201 to approve. You recuse. Thank you for raising that. Public Safety Row 300. It does not have the capital items around the fire station and equipment in this.
And when do we think we can?
Is the longevity pay in additional hours?
In the personnel policy, your first bump is at 7 years, it's $13 a week. Then another, is it in year 10 or 11? Or does that double to 14?
No, it doesn't know it was 10.
And then you go from $13 a week longevity bonus to 26. And then the other jump, I think, is at 15 years,
Yes.
where you jump to 39 a week bonus.
And I'll give you a little bit of satisfaction that I checked these figures because I needed to on most all the departments so that we could get the retirement right. So he's got them. They are.
Then I will move 1062684, line 300.
I'll second that.
Give me just a minute.
And you know you're going all the way to line,
361.
yes, sir, you get it. Just wanted to make sure.
It's a big budget, yeah.
Yeah, I
It's,
just want, because it's subdivision,
it's a heck of a budget.
yeah.
I just want to double check everything. Okay. So the motion was,
Accept line 300 as published, 1,062,684.
and we had a second, right?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Hydrant rental, row 362, nothing we can really change. They obviously got a significant increase approved by the PUC. The district really needs more cash in the bank, not that they can have a lot, but their customer base is 160, 170 customers. It's a tiny water district, and they were in need of an increase. It's not even gonna take care of their capital needs in the long run. They're gonna have to borrow money, but they're pursuing that as well for a new tank. This is 30 or 33% of their budget by statute. That's what the town pays.
And the rest comes from the district itself?
Ratepayers. Yeah. That's that's their only source of revenue. And I've been here 5.5 years, and we've had occasional conversations that this should be turned back into a water department run by the town. I think there's some merit to that. There's pluses and minuses there too, and people would have to vote on that. There's also a legislative act to create or to dissolve a municipal utility like that. Selectmen haven't been pushing that discussion too hard, but we've certainly had it once every year or two. It's something to think about, because the 3-person board of directors on the tiny water district, they don't have assets and resources to do much of anything. And the flexibility of property taxes is what's a little bit of a draw in terms of flexibility. If we need to build that tank, we can fund that at a decent interest rate and pay it off in 10, 15, or 20 years, whatever we want, under our conventional budgeting, just like what we're doing now.
They're kind of choked off.
And Lord only knows when the water district's going to be able to do that financially. They don't have the revenue stream to, to pay the principal and interest in that yet, anyway.
Can I ask a question here? Who's responsible for testing the hydrants? Is that under the fire department?
No, that'd be the water department most. We don't own very many hydrants. I think it might be 3 or 4 that the town owns.
Oh.
But the water district would be doing nearly all of that, if not all of it.
Is that a once-a-year thing?
I don't know how long they're flushed.
I'm sure there are state requirements. I don't know what they are.
Fire department would participate in that as well when they're filling trucks, and they probably help out in that regard.
Okay.
But most of that would be on the water district staff.
How old are the lines? The reason I ask is when I was in college a few years ago, the town I worked for, we did lines, and half of the 8 to 10 inch lines were calcified, so that the water, I mean, your 10 inches of line was now down to 5 inches of line. Your pressure is down. Have we ever scoured out the lines?
I don't know. The water district is early 80s?
I was gonna say, we've been here 28 years and we have water down our road. So it's been since 1990.
Yeah. I
I'd
want to
guess
say
the
80s or late 70s when that pollution problem caused all this. When did that tank show up on the hill?
Late 70s?
Okay.
I'm just wondering if that's something we might want to consider. I don't know what our calcium content is in our water.
I know our iron's high.
Yeah.
The whole area's high.
Either way, it doesn't change the bill here. So
Right.
So I would say I'd move to accept the 59.7.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roscommon Fire Company, again, is 1/3 of their total budget split between the 3 towns.
I move we accept the 9,987.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Health and sanitation.
Transfer station.
This is where I'm wondering if we should wait a while and try to figure out what we're going to hear on that bid.
You don't have time to do that. You can come back and redo your column before the
Okay.
selectmen are done. But that's gonna be 3 weeks before those bids are back. So you can certainly come back and redo it. And if you just wanna wait and not vote on this, I mean, that's not a big deal either. I just can't, compute some extremely crude expense versus revenue, tax scenarios if you folks don't have a bottom dollar. But that's not a great problem because it's so early in the budget season. Shirley and I have done that with some prospective numbers, but it's nothing that's going to be shown to the public or even you folks at this point because there's too many unknowns.
Well, the first one is line 384. In talking to Clint last week, he thought $400 would be sufficient for signs. So I'd like to cut 384, column C, from $2,000 to $1,000.
That begs the question, of why did he put 2 in there?
I don't know. I mean, I go over to columns F, G, H, I, he's,
I'd second that.
Okay.
Are you're doing 1,000 and not 400?
change line C from 2,000 to 1,000. That still gives him 2.5 times what he spent last year.
Right.
When you say line C, what do you mean?
I'm sorry, column C.
Column D is yours.
Column D.
Column D should be $1,000.
Understood.
Line 384.
Yep.
Yep.
You have a motion and a second.
Moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
We should still have some very good-looking signs. And this is the one, line 387, a roll-off container. And this is the problem we're having with our schools. And maybe this is something the Board of Selectmen needs to take up. When we get one container that comes back and it's only got a lot less.
Partially filled.
Yeah, they need to be at least, they don't have to be overflowing, but let's not move a truck for an item that's got nothing in it. If necessary, maybe we should tell the schools, contract it out yourself.
Well, we're gonna be billing them for contaminated loads.
Right.
They already know that. If they have a contaminated load that we send to Eco-Maine, there's gonna be a charge that we pay, and they're darn well gonna reimburse us for that. But I also told you before that some of these loads are so contaminated recently, they've been put in household waste,
Yeah.
and they've not been taken as a recycled load.
That's how I ended up here. The load went straight to the hopper.
Yeah. And business manager's working on that, but that's an uphill slope, because there's so many different people thinking what they know what recycling is. They've agreed that they're gonna get the recycling outreach person over to the school in some fashion, at least for the staff, which will help. She's very good. And the demonstration she does is 20 to 30 minutes, and it really sticks with you in terms of what is and is not recyclable. But I don't look for their contamination rate to get stellar anytime soon, like the rest of the towns did. We went from 30+% down to, we're pretty much at 1% now, every month, with the things that we send.
Are you finding the school to be more during the summer?
Absolutely. All the
So
work,
can
the
we-
construction,
Can we pull it?
the contractors.
Construction debris. It's an open dumpster, you know what that's like.
That's not a bad thought, now that we're paying. I mean,
Pull
last
it for
summer,
the
we didn't
summer,
pay.
and
And if it was contaminated last summer, there was no fine.
So we paid it. If there weren't,
No,
oh no, there was no fine.
There was no fine. They hadn't started that yet.
So you could pull it for July and August.
Good. The school department administration wants to recycle. They want these kids to learn how to do that, and that's a good thing. They don't want to get rid of these dumpsters. They recognize it's a problem, and the money that they'll be charged for these loads is not huge, so that's not a real big financial deterrent to hit, $35 to $70 for a contaminated load. But it might get their attention. You know it's going to change the world for them. They want to continue to do it, and I give them credit for that. But that roll-off container, Clint was talking before, if they don't use them, we wouldn't need this. I have talked to the business manager, and they do not want their recycling containers to go away. They want them there. So I think this 8,000 should stay in case we do need to buy a new one. If we don't spend it, and if they decide to get rid of one from one school, then fine, this won't be expensive.
Okay.
So I'm taking 1,000 for the moment anyway.
Yeah. repairs, structural repairs, and painting and doors. Wasn't there like $15,000 that he had somewhere when we were talking to him?
Well, we were gonna build a new shed, that's in line 412,
Yeah.
for the oil storage.
Yeah.
Have you seen the oil storage shed there?
Oh, I've
The one
used
by
it.
the-
I've used it, yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah,
Falling apart.
I think it's a great benefit.
Oh, definitely.
I think it's fantastic.
It
but
doesn't
it's-
go out in the woods.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's great, but it's great, that's all I'll say. But certainly could be improved.
Wasn't somebody gonna check and see what he had? Because I remember you
Yeah.
said 15,000.
Yeah, there
Because they
was,
had talked about something that he had this year or something?
yeah, he has money
In the buildings?
in the
account?
buildings account that he can use.
The designated fund balance of $26,000.
Right. And he can use that to build that building.
For building repairs, Julie?
It just says transfer station fund balance. I'd have to go back in the history and see what it was meant for, because that's in the general ledger.
Yeah, some of that might have been,
It was pretty much, I think, a building, but I'm not, I
yeah,
won't
it
swear.
was gonna be the
Sure.
roof over the recycling area. We, at the time, we had budgeted 25 to 40, I think, and that
It was
must
gonna
be the
cost
remnants of
50 or
that.
something.
We went out to bid, and we got one bid for
Hey,
120.
you
Right.
said that was astronomical.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we didn't take it. We need to find, we went the whole gamut, engineered specs, we required, people to be bonded, and we just need to come up with some plans and hire a contractor to build this simple structure. And not,
Could the people at the transfer facility build it?
no.
Okay.
Public Works could help by digging a hole and provide some equipment there, but we ought to have a contractor actually build this thing. Needs to keep the wind and the rain and the snow out of the recycled material.
Standish's isn't that big, very big, but theirs is more where Jersey Berry is, and the building is on top of it, for their recyclables for cardboard and everything. I didn't know what was behind it, because I had to put some insulation down back, so I got to see what it was sitting on this weekend. But theirs is covered.
So you've taken 1,000 off the total so far of line 370.
One of the things we talked about last week, Tim, $10 for a dump fee generates 30,000, more or less. We talked about doubling that to a $20 bill. Brings in more money. I don't think it's gonna hurt anyone for that. I really don't.
Interesting to see what the selectmen think of it.
Yeah, but I would like to think we could go to an increase for the dump fee. And the other thing, free dump day. I know he split this out, but I'd like to see something like a $5 per vehicle charge. We're sucking up a lot of money here. Would it be, I mean, is that something the selectmen would be willing, hey, your vehicle comes in, it's a $5 bill. Next time you come around, $5 bill. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but
We could ask.
I would like to bring that up. You know, we try to,
I think I'd be more amenable to something like that than I would be raising the fee to $20. We don't offer any garbage pickup, you gotta bring it yourself. I think $10 is fine, but I agree with I call it the
Yeah,
anarchy day, when you go there to the free dump day. I went once, and that was enough for me.
I drove past it once and I won't ever go.
Bring a book,
Yeah.
but with all due respect to the time, that's on the revenue side. Good thing to have a discussion with the selectmen on, but that's not germane to tonight, so.
Right. I'm gonna move that we strike line 387, we take $8,000 off for a new container. we make do with the ones we have, and if the schools want a new one, they can pay for it themselves.
No, they won't be getting a new one. The only thing that might happen is if they give one up, we would use it. Motion to zero. Is there a second?
Okay.
No, second.
Okay.
Ties for lack of a second.
So that would leave us at line 370 is 554,232.
No, 5, 4, we're taking $1,000 out, so it'd be 547,107. Looks like I missed another reduction here.
I think that's
So,
it.
I have line 370 at town admin recommendation, column C, at 555,232.
What's the date on your document?
This is tonight's. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is my other one, my old one.
You can still use your old one if you got notes in there. but
Oh, yep.
Column D should read 547,107.
Right.
So does that reflect the $1,000 reduction?
Yes.
All right, then let's go with that.
Are you moving that?
I'll move 547,107.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0, thank you. The other big one, Public Works. Line 420, there is a new person in there. The line is up 23,000, which is not a new person, but we took out some things that were there before in terms of a 6-month laborer at $15 an hour. And we took out, I think we had $5,000 in there for a part-time driver. We haven't hired either of those people to do that work, so there is $37,000 in here, you can see, for a new person, but it didn't go up that much because there was already some money in here that came out under other categories. The other thing to note is line 430, and that is $275,000 for hot top. And I haven't taken that down to 250. I kind of hold some of these things in my back pocket to see if the selectmen say, hey, Lamb, take, $250,000 out or something like that. I want to have the discussion about the expenditures and then work with you folks and them to see where we might need to find some money, but certainly this amount of paving could go down. We'll spend pretty much every nickel that's in there. We've got plenty to do in town.
Is Hamilton Road the entire length, even the Lyman section?
No, we wouldn't pay that.
Okay, so sure. Do we plow that part of it though, don't we?
They pay us $2,440.
We trade off.
Oh, you trade off, oh, okay.
Lyman or Hollis. We charge one of those towns for that type of arrangement.
Lyman.
It is Lyman.
That should be Lyman, yeah.
There's lower during ridges in Lyman too.
The other change, or increase I should say, is on page 16 and line 448. We greatly increased the striping. We went from, I think, $10,000 to $20,000 in road striping and row, or line 448. People are really calling for the white lines on the side and not just the yellow in the middle. And we all understand that on a foggy night, that makes a big difference. And David had also bumped up some other things in there in terms of amount of money for brush clearing and mowing, roads and bridges and ditching. A little bit of an increase on all of those things in that town roads maintenance text box.
How much of the brush clearing and stuff do we do? Or do
All
we
of
contract?
All of this is
That's what we do.
what we do, yeah. There's not much of anything in this that, there may be some trucking costs in there for hauling material. And then the other thing to talk about in row 452, 10,500 for blowing the West Road sidewalk. If we buy a blower, in my mind, we don't pay anybody $10,000 to blow 4/10 of a mile to the high school anymore. We do that ourselves.
Who uses that sidewalk? Students to and from the milk room?
Yes.
Well, that's the milk room and the schools. I'm gonna move that 10-5 come out of that line. If the schools want it done, the schools can do it. If the milk room wants the students to come and spend money, the milk room can pay for it.
That doesn't work. We can't ask the school.
I'm still moving that 10-5 come out of that line.
Very fine. Motion reduced 10-5.
Do you have a
Any second?
on that?
No? No second.
Okay.
Again, the plow contract was 500 each of 3 years. There's no increase there, which is why there's no increase in the 500.
Who has it this year? It's,
Paul Poirier is his name. This is his first winter.
What's
with
the company?
with us.
Snow busters.
Dayton Snow.
Dayton Snow Fighters?
Snow Fighters.
Okay.
Does Lyman and Dayton also. I still have some issues with him, but, especially Diane does, because a gang mailbox was knocked over by the plow.
I noticed that, and I
That's
came.
still on the sawhorses?
Yes.
Still on the soft.
That was an okay fix.
So they're gonna put in a new one. I know when they plowed it, it looked like the lag bolts that came up out of the cement, they kind of.
Sheared them off?
No, I don't know if they sheared them off, but they're kind of bent, so they're gonna have to probably re-cement it and
Yeah.
put new, so they are gonna put in a.
But are you folks
mailbox.
pursuing the direct mail to your homes? Somebody told me that.
A couple of them would rather have direct mail to the house. I would rather have a cluster because it's
Okay.
locked.
That's up to you.
But the post office told us that they're not responsible for the cluster boxes anymore. But they installed it. They've installed two there, one that rusted and one, but they're telling us they're not responsible for them anymore. The people that live in the development are.
That's convenient, isn't it?
I came down Daring Ridge on the way here, and there's at least 5 post office boxes that are not mail-worthy.
Held together with duct tape.
There's one with some red duct tape on it, yes.
I heard the gentleman fell asleep at ours,
And that's not the only place he's fallen asleep.
so they shouldn't be on the road.
If he was our employee, he wouldn't, so. It's a life safety issue. All right, that's out in left field, although it's an important thing, especially for Diane. But as far as what I know here, line 417 has not changed, unless we're gonna continue to talk about page 16.
Line 429, we budget 14,000 for culverts.
429. Yep.
Do we get reimbursed for that from the homeowner?
We installed, but
Then they pay,
reimburse
yeah.
us for the culvert.
Okay. That's what I thought. I
Some of these are replacing existing, so all of this wouldn't be coming back, but I'm guessing, I don't know, a quarter to maybe a half of this, might be, maybe a quarter to a third of this is coming back. They're $400 to $500,
yeah, they're expensive.
and depending on how long a driveway, wide a driveway, they sometimes have to buy a longer one, so. And you can see, we use that pretty much every year, historically, if you go back to the right.
No, there's another line in here. Or did I miss it? No, never mind. I'm sorry, line 442, pit restoration. What is pit restoration?
When you're no longer harvesting gravel out of your pit, you're supposed to start the restoration activities,
Okay.
That's state right.
which is.
Is this a fund we're building up
loaming and
slowly?
seeding. No, this would be $5,000 for next year to do that. We have 5 in there now. We didn't spend any, as you can see, in 17, 18. And I don't think this needs to be any more than 5 because we got a ton of gravel down there now, which we will use. I haven't talked to David about actually any loaming and planting. A lot of the ditching that we have down there, when you drive in and go down into the gravel pit, did we do that?
We did that,
day?
yeah.
Off to the right of the spoils of the ditching, and that stuff will be spread around the edges to grow grass and trees when we actually slope that off and do this work. There hasn't been a whole lot of it done yet, nor is DEP climbing down our neck to do that, because we don't have more than a 5-acre active pit. If we did, they'd be crawling down our throats to do that.
If I remember correctly, you said the pit should last us 5 more years.
At our present usage, that's our estimate, without buying any more land. We hope we could buy the piece from where the trees start now out to the power lines. It might buy us another 5 years,
Okay.
directly to the rear of the pit.
But at that point, the whole thing would have to be reclaimed.
I'm just wondering why we're doing reclaiming money now if we're not gonna do any reclaiming.
Well, as you can have 5 acres, but as you begin to exceed that, what you're leaving behind, you begin to reclaim it, so it's like
Okay.
incremental.
Well, you raise a good point. Are we gonna do the work? I can't give you a definite answer that we're gonna do this restoration this year. Next year. We've got 5,000 in for this spring, and I don't think that's gonna be spent before June 30 with all the other things we have going on. If you wanna take this out, we'll carry forward the 5 we have in this year, and probably do just fine. Mr. Benton wouldn't disagree with me, but if he was here. He also might be able to say what he would have planned.
I move we take the $5,000 out.
Second.
this year. All in favor?
Aye.
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 What line was that?
442.
442.
And we will carry forward the 5 that we have in there now if we don't spend it. Okay, nice. So you're now at 1.
No, when we went to the pit, you said that the gentleman that crushes our gravel does it every other year. Correct? Am I
He comes
correct?
in late June.
Right.
He crushes for that budget year, he bills us in June. And then he stays right there through the 4th, and he crushes the next year.
Okay.
So he doesn't have to move his piece of equipment.
So we do budget each year?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a June, July payment.
Yes. Separated.
Well, June and then whenever he's done.
Paid 40,000 in one fiscal year and 40,000.
We've already paid the 40 for 2019. It's already been.
Yeah, he was down there when I went with Gary.
So do you have us at 1,489,090? Is the total?
Yeah.
We took 5,000 out. That's all I've heard so far.
Yes.
So in line 417, that's your total for the moment.
Yeah, 1,489,000.
1,489,090.
Yep. Is there any other discussion on this section? No?
Good.
I'm gonna, motion that we accept the 1,489,090.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Thank you. Salt shed funds no longer needed. In fact, next year, this line will be gone in terms of necessity and expense budget. General assistance, row 462, went down significantly thanks to a good economy, thanks to some longtime clients not living here anymore. Good deal of rent. That was, we don't need to pay anymore. You can see the rent line in row 479 went from 40,000 to 30,000, which is the biggest part of the reduction. Nice to see this go down and not up.
Yeah.
No discussion, then I'd say we go with the 47,591.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0, thank you. Christmas donations, no. Education, not yet. As you might have seen in the paper, I think the district got $1.5 million more money out of Augusta for the moment. The legislature's not done, out of the governor's budget anyway. So education we leave, few donations we need, and now we have the most discussion probably, and that's capital improvement. First, really fancy pictures here, not much other information, but it shows you the new trash truck in and around $175,000 used. You can go all the way down to next to nothing, up to $125,000 for something used. That is the type of vehicle we're thinking about, whether or not we should have. I roughed it out at 5%, which I think we could do better than that if we purchased a new one, which would be $40,000 a year, which is the placeholder I put in there. And a lot of these things, in my mind, are in red pencil, if you will. And you're gonna have some discussions with the selectmen and beat these things around, and that's good, because not all of this is going to be funded. We know that. But they want these ideas before us to be able to discuss them with you folks and amongst themselves and pick and choose. The next one below that is the snow blower, which you have spec in front of you there. A brand new one, 135, and there was a second-hand one that was at this particular dealer that was 114, I think. So I roughed that out for a new one at 5% at $30,000 a year. Line 504, I really think we need to do the water main into the central station. This is a fire station and they don't have water to fill a truck. Remember, we're paving, we're not, DOT is paving Route 5, and we may very well need to find some money in this fiscal year to get that line across Route 5, because they won't let us cut it after they pave it. And we can do that in this fiscal year's budget. And that's all we're gonna do is go across the road and stop. And then if this is passed on June 11th by the voters, then we would come all the way down to the station. Something else that's new, the Kevlar vest, row 505. It's depressing to talk about such a thing. Many other communities in Maine are going this way. This is not a vest that you would wear all day long like a police officer. You would put it on when you went to a suicide call, if you went to a domestic disturbance. The full-time captains and other full-time staff would have their own. There would be 2 on each ambulance and 2 on one of the other engines. And then I think 2 or 3 more for the per diem staff. And if you wanted to, we're not set on buying 20 all at once. If we wanted to split this into 2 years, like you suggested with some other things, that would be fine. And you could just essentially say $8,000 a year for 2 years for 10 of these. If the selectmen and you folks decide you want to purchase them. I think the other item on 506 needs to be purchased. I think the machine is 10 years old. Pretty important to have that fit test machine work. Row 507 is to replace the service truck they have over there now that is still functional in terms of a mechanical sense. I mean, it only is a single cab, it only takes 2 people to a fire. They are suggesting a new vehicle with the crew cab, so you could put 4 or 5 people in that to respond. That truck goes to many calls for just additional people or to come and go and pick something up. It's used a lot.
Could we get one more year out of it?
That's the card game that we're playing here, because we got to
Yeah.
keep on going down under buildings to the bottom of this page here. And row 514, in my mind, one of the lower priority items is the second floor bathroom remodeling. If you live there like the fire department does, you'll see that that bathroom needs some attention. I'm more concerned about the water coming into the building, and quite frankly, we've got a little bit of flexibility here on, we budgeted $150,000 for the roof, we're gonna spend less than $120,000. So, in terms of a building expense, I don't have any problem taking some of that money and doing something else to the building this year. I think it would be tight to do the mini splits, the row 515, the HVAC. The air conditioning over there is horrible. It's completely inadequate for the size of the building. It was engineered for no air conditioning at all, and everything is either stuck in a window or just undersized for what we're trying to do. So I think it's smart to use some of that money between now and June 30 for the building that we haven't spent on the roof. And then 1 or 2 of these things could perhaps be eliminated before the selectmen are done with this whole list. So that's in the works as well. Sidewalks on the top of page 19, philosophical discussion here for you folks and the selectmen. If we decide to do that, then you're going to need to buy that sidewalk machine in my book. You eliminate blowing of West Road, the cost for that to 10 grand. You do that with town staff. And then the other thing, row 519, Star Hill Road. This is something that in my mind, between this and the extra $25,000 that's in the paving budget, David had the paving budget at $275. I had it at $250 last year. This is another area that is some wiggle room, if you will, in terms of prioritization. This total for the CIP right now is still, $15,000 less than last year. But we had $150 for the roof last year, which is a big chunk to not fund and to just pay cash with. It's good that we aren't spending any more in this proposed list, but I'm under no illusions that all of these are gonna be funded. With that, I'll shut up and you guys can take over.
Yeah. I think the priority to me is getting water to the central station. Just, I think that's looking at everything, I think that's, and then the next one would be the truck for the transfer station. And that's where, we look at this board, would the board consider, you've got a brand new truck or a used truck, and we talked to Clint last week, getting a used truck is a hit or miss. What's the board gonna want?
You just went from fire station to transfer station, right?
Yes,
Okay.
from
You're on 502 now.
504 to line 502.
Yep.
And, depending on what the Board of Selectmen thinks for 502, it's something we have to fund. We can't, we don't have $100,000 or $200,000, $175,000. We can't pay that. I think a new vehicle is a better idea, at least in the short term for the vehicle. Maintenance will be less. Hopefully we could get 10 years out of a truck like that. Maybe not. I don't know.
And when those costs come back for the hauling, you'll be able to compare that
Yeah.
with, if we're gonna do it all, there's no question we need a new vehicle. And we should have a new vehicle.
Excuse me, you say you have somebody in the system now that can drive the truck?
We have 2 people on staff, David Benton and Jason.
Well, I wouldn't think you'd want to use David Benton for
I would,
drive a truck on a daily basis,
we would not.
yeah.
This other person, if there is another person hired, would have to have that CDL. Or we can go out and hire people on an hourly basis to come in that may be flexible. They're just available to come drive and make those hauls into Eco Maine if we decide to do everything. In my mind, 2 or 3 people on that list to be able to drive at a moment's
think
notice
that would be,
necessary.
yeah, prudent to do that, yeah.
Because if that person's gonna be hauling containers, they're not gonna have much time to work at the transfer station or for Public Works.
No.
They'll be hauling probably about 1 container a day, thereabouts. And what's that, 2.5 hours before you're in there and back?
Right, if you use this truck for 3 hours a day, for that, is there some other use that you can put this to, that would be advantageous to the town?
Well, we talked about other towns, and you and I had touched on that the other day. The selectmen had talked about, partnering up with Limerick or some other neighbor towns to haul for them. And that's a double-edged sword. You can do that and make some revenue, but how much of that you do means that that truck might not be available when you need it. If it was just one other town, I think that would be manageable, especially if it was somebody that was smaller than us. But at one point in time, the selectmen were talking about really going out and starting a business and having multiple towns as our customers for this, and I just don't see that. Kind of defeats the purpose of having the truck right there on a Sunday afternoon to prevent that blasted picture from backing up. That's what we need to do.
Plus you're moving cans around the transfer station. You're not just driving to RWS.
Right.
Right.
Most of the use of the truck will be moving containers on site. I'm anxious for the results to come back from the contractors on the hauling. That's one thing we're lacking now.
I think it's gonna be a no-brainer, but we'll have to see.
We get our own?
Well, if it's more expensive to contract it is to buy a truck.
I'll be surprised if some of those bids aren't more than twice what we're paying now. I think his contract is 75, thereabouts now, when you add it all up.
Well, if you go back in the history of when we went out to bid, they were almost double of what E&E came in at
Back then,
back then.
yeah. That
Double,
was
if not
only,
triple.
that was only 5 years ago, I think.
I know, yeah, but if you went back and you looked at your history, you'd be shocked.
Yeah.
But I also want to say something about with, in past experience, having owned trucks and temporary drivers in it. We hauled, they don't care about it.
Right.
It's not their truck.
Right.
You're better off to have a designated 1 or 2 drivers,
Right.
and they take respect of it.
It's their truck.
It's their truck, it's their baby,
Matters.
and especially if it's a new one. And this is hauling gasoline and oil as well as logs and lumber.
So would you recommend a full-time driver?
Even
And then,
matter of full, if you've got somebody
A
that's even
pool.
retired,
and maybe a 1 or 2 part-time drivers? One guy does 1 day a week, one guy does another day a
Let
week,
them
or one guy
know,
does
and-
2, or,
yeah, because number one, if you get one that's smoking and one that doesn't smoke,
Yeah.
you don't want to stand by your policy that we got no smoking in the town's
yeah.
trucks. And I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, but I'm just speaking from my own experience, having had trucks and being in the trucking business for so many years, car haulers as well, so. If you go apply by, a big pool of guys, they aren't gonna care, well, you did this to my truck, you did that to my truck.
Now, you're absolutely right. I'm a logistic, my company's a logistic company, and they assign trucks to the driver. It's their truck.
Ownership.
It matters.
Yeah.
So,
And you're giving him pride of having something to take care of. Servicing and what, and make sure you set your policies of walk-arounds and everything else.
Well,
You don't have to resolve this section tonight. There's so much to talk about here. I'm not gonna ask you to do that.
This is a meeting in itself.
Yes, it is.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Gary, have you given any time to using this 175 price, amortized for 10 years, plus your driver? somewhere near, do you have any idea what it would cost us with these values?
It'll be a little more than
What
that.
it would cost us a year?
It'd be a little more than half that. Instead of you cutting that from 40 to 20, obviously there'd be more interest there. So that might be 25 instead of 20.
Okay, plus your driver.
Right, this is just to amortize that loan.
Oh, yeah, but what I'm asking is have you put the rest of the numbers together for what it's, so you would have some idea?
Oh, to look
If
at
you
the
go
whole-
buy a new truck, what it's gonna cost you to handle your waste for a year?
You could, I mean, if this third person comes on and all this works out that we're going to do everything, then that third person and one other is going to do most all of the hauling. And they're probably gonna have half their week in that truck
Okay.
as an employee.
Okay, and having said that, do you have any way to compare the yearly cost to what you're paying now versus what a contract may come out to?
Oh, I think that's fairly easy to do. Take your contract price for hauling everything and use your hourly wage that you're gonna do. You know how many loads you've taken.
Yeah.
You know that's
Well,
2.5 to
have
3
you-
hours.
Do you have any
No.
idea on that now?
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
We'll do that right after we get the bids, I think, for the hauling contract.
Well, yeah, you could do it after you get the bid, you could do it before you
Oh, I
get the
can do it,
bid.
yeah.
And
You can do
then-
that now.
Then you would compare it to what the bid is. If the bid's coming in at 175,000, and you could do it for 125, it's pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's a lot that has to be, factored into the cost, besides the cost of the truck. That's why, I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have a garage now that fits one, you can put one truck in. This place won't have a home to get out of the weather unless we put it in the sand salt shed. But
Keep it in the salt shed.
I don't really want to keep the vehicle in there with all the salt that's in
Nah,
there.
that's not, I wouldn't want to keep my vehicle in there on a permanent basis.
Right. I mean, there will be a time, and you folks all know that, we all know this, sometime in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to build a 4 to 6 bay garage here and buy dump trucks to plow snow. And I don't want to do that, but when you don't have people to bid on your whole town, and that is going to happen. We can chop it up into thirds, and we were ready to do that this last time, but that's another mess. 3 different contractors, we'd have to supply a loader in the salt shed while it's snowing, et cetera, so.
Yeah, what we have done, we didn't get it there. We had one bid.
And we only had one other bid for a third of the town. The other 2/3 of the town didn't have any bids.
Just dried up.
So if we can do it, if you want to tackle individual items in CIP, that's fine. If you want to just leave it for your workshop with selectmen, that's fine. Some unclassified things here that are a little more generic and don't create such municipal passion and conversation, I guess. There is one new item on the last page, under York County Shelters, Bill 549. I just wanted to point this out to you. We did get a request from them, we did not have this the last time we were together. They asked for 3,000, that you see under Bill 549, and I left them at 1,500, which is what they had 2 years ago. We did not get a request from them last year. So that's the only change there, and that's the last new piece of information to bring to you. in that.
I'd like to take line 498 up with the Board of Selectmen. I personally don't think we can afford everything. But maybe, again, my priority would be to that water main, to the fire station. And then, you know, somebody might want something else as a diff, but I'd like to take that up with the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
I think that's like line 14, it sounds like we have enough money left over from the roof project that could be covered there.
You could do that, and I'm not a fan of buying other equipment for building-related things, but you could at least do the bathroom remodel. If you did the HVAC on line 515, I don't think you'd have enough money to do anything else. Because that estimate for the HVAC, AC and heat, came from a contractor, so that's probably pretty solid. The 12,000 may be a little high for the bathroom remodel.
How old is that estimate for HVAC?
6 months.
It's not too bad. Well, if there's enough in this year's money from the roof project left over, I'd like to say we do the central station bathroom remodel with that. Take that out of this line, completely strike line for 514, and then whatever's left over from the roof project goes back into the general fund. And then maybe, then we take up 515, unless the board would seem to think maybe we take everything left over from the roof project, fix the bathroom, which I'd rather fix the bathroom than the air conditioning.
Put it towards the water line?
Well, maybe towards the water line, or maybe towards the heat, we put in some air conditioning units, and next year we do the rest of the air conditioning. I know it's not optimum, but if we have X amount of dollars left over that would cover the bathroom, I think the bathroom would be, I don't want to see a porta potty outside the fire department.
Oh, the bathroom's not that bad, it's fine.
Well, yeah.
It just, we thought it should be tiled, so you can clean it.
Yeah,
They paint the bathroom every year. There's 25 to 30 people that use that thing in the course of a week. How many of them do you think clean the bathroom when they're there for a 12-hour shift? Not many.
Is there any mold up there in the
It's,
bathroom?
you might dig through the corners and find some, but it's not bad, you can't see
So
it.
it doesn't need to be remediated by another
No.
company that?
No. More concerned about that up in the attic now that we've insulated the roof.
My other question is, the picture that you showed about the snow falling off the roof
Yes.
on Mrs. Bennett's car, what are they gonna do about that along the sidewalk for safety?
The short answer is, when the snow's on the roof and it's thick enough, I think we might have to have sawhorses up there and prevent the sidewalk from being used until the snow drops.
Okay.
This snow blower and whatever equipment we have now would take care of removing that snow when it falls on the ground.
Okay.
Get it out of there. It has to go because the water goes in the bloody side door of the fire station when we don't take the snow away.
Okay. Have they thought about roof stoppers?
We have those up there now.
there's some on there.
Along the whole roof though, or just over certain
You
areas?
can do that. Some of the snow will come over. We've also just learned that the snow will go under those stops.
Okay.
And it stays up there for days and forms of ice, an inch and a half thick.
Okay.
And that comes under the stop and almost hit Mike Frazier a week or so ago. So maybe we need to beef up the stops a little. The doghouse dormers on those sides are inadequate in my book. Maybe we need to double stop, rather than build new doghouse dormers around the side doors by the parking lot, maybe we need to put double stops up on the roof to really hold that snow 5 or 10 feet each side of the door.
Kind of alternator maybe?
I don't know how, I'm not a roofer, I don't know, but I just know that
Suggestion.
it's coming by them now. And it can go over them too on a real heavy load. And when it goes, it pulls it over those stops from the sides somewhat. You've made great progress tonight. If you want to call it a night, I don't blame you.
Do we have one more meeting before we meet with the selectmen?
You can have as many as you want.
Well, we don't need to do
Well,
that.
that's not true. We've got a deadline here.
Yeah.
I think the CIP stuff would be logical to leave for the first workshop with them. These are the things that need to be chewed over. And that would be helpful to both of you. Then you could, meet that night at the end of that meeting if there were decisions to be made or at another time. I mean, you could If you want, you could do unclassified old home days tonight, there's really not, unless you have things that you're concerned about there. We can make you changes in there and dispense with those two areas and leave the CIP for your workshop with the selectmen.
What do you want to do? You want to,
Yeah, why don't we knock those out, and then we save the, as he says, the CIP stuff.
All right.
okay, line 544, life flight, I want it all struck, there's a sum of 0. I see no reason. They charge enough when they lift off. I went through their whole brochure. There's nothing that says they need any more money. There are 495 towns in the state of Maine. Only 459 towns in Maine, 195 towns make donations to Life Flight. Alfred is not on the list. Dayton is not on the list. Limerick is not on the list. Sanford is not on the list. And Sanford has the base. I have a little bit of experience with medevac and helicopters. I see no reason whatsoever to pay them any money. So moved. Strike line 544.
Motion to take that to 0 then.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I mean, everything else to me looks, we don't have a choice with your county taxes.
Right.
I don't want, I look at Lake Arrowhead and I seem to think to myself, they should be taking care of their own lake, but on the other hand, somebody pulls a boat out of Lake Arrowhead and then puts it into Ossipee at the town dock. I see $3,000 as a cheap between that and the people we have standing at the dock, the boat ramp.
And they spend many times that 3,000 with those harvesters they have.
Yes.
Divers, it's,
I don't think they're ever gonna get it under control.
once it's there, you have to
Too
poison
shallow.
everything and kill
Yeah.
everything in it.
I mean, if you're gonna poison the lake, it goes downstream,
They're connected to Ospey Lake.
yeah.
Fortunately, on the downhill side,
It flows the other way, right?
yeah.
But yeah, it's so shallow, I think they'll never get rid of it.
Magic machine out
What do we do for Memorial Day?
here.
Curiosity, I'm not gonna strike the money, just what do we do?
We have flags that get put on veterans' graves.
I'm over in Sanford that weekend, okay, I'm gonna look this year.
So,
And that would be 95,
Where are you now, Tom?
line 520, the unclassified
Oh,
total.
649683? If you take out the life flight,
So
Six,
649,683?
yes.
okay, I won't do the math. And as far as 96, there's no need for anything there. And if I remember correctly, you said that Old Home Days brings in pretty much all of what we spend on them?
No, no.
no.
3 to 5 in revenue.
Okay.
This truck, life flight. There it is, and this is the. You didn't vote on that, Tom?
No, we didn't.
They did not.
No.
All right, I'll make a motion, we accept the 649683 under 520 unclassified.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
0, thank you. And Old Home Days.
They only bring in 3 to 5?
Yep. Yeah,
They
the other.
spend more than 4 on police.
Hmm.
And then all the other things that are in the parade, they're paying, a few to several
Yeah,
$100
I have-
for the floats.
Yeah.
things that zoom around.
Yeah.
Fireworks are 9.
Puts us on the map, though, it's a big thing.
Yes. I don't go, I just don't like crowds. But up until my trees grew, I could sit on my back deck and watch the fireworks. So there'll be some tree cutting this year.
It's a big hit.
Is there more discussion? Because I'm gonna say,
Oh,
my motion is to go with the 25. I think it's good for the town.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Having said that, is there any way we could ask them to try to raise a little bit more money? Up a price of a beer by 50 cents or $1?
Well,
Or?
there's no alcohol
Alcohol.
at Old Home Days, there's no.
Oh, I'm
alcohol.
thinking the other one, I'm
You
sorry.
think of the blues.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you call the sheriff and see if he'll donate some police service?
Ah!
But that paper is cooked. Be quiet, 'cause we're on TV.
I'll talk to you after we turn it off.
It's hot mic.
All right.
All right,
See
thank you very much, and both Tim and I will talk about budget workshops next Tuesday night. Unfortunately.
Next Tuesday.
At the regular selectmen's meeting. Unfortunately, March 5th is already a workshop with the steering committee for the community center. That'll take that issue. We need a whole dedicated session for the first one here for the CIP and the budget in general. We can ask them whether or not they want to meet on something other than a Tuesday night. That'll be up to the board. Other than that, you know, the 19th is too late for a budget workshop for us. We need to do it the first, in my mind, 10 days of March. And I
Did
think we
that
can.
last year, we met off days.
Well, the other thing we did, which is wonderful in my book, is we came in on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, that was it.
And we were here for 3 hours and we got it done,
Be done.
so.
So we're flexible.
I'll have my calendar in the truck.
I can't be here on the 9th of March.
Stay tuned for those types of things, and Tim and I'll try to pin them down for some dates, maybe.
The Saturday idea would work for me. I mean, it's the exception of the rule, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, we'll try and pick 2 Saturdays and maybe 2 weekdays for ideas. So, well done. Thank you.
Don't forget to check out the flagpole.
Yes, let's go look at that.
Yeah, we can, let's go that way. We don't need to go outside. I'll go get my keys. You gotta turn that off, Jim?